Alright, hello ladies and gentlemen on YouTube. I was asked to take a look at this video, the farewell to Perkz, which is a great deal. You know, I've never been in G2, I never worked with Perkz, but I've had my fair share of conversations with him. I met him the first time in Cologne, where it was an IM being played. I was there with Papa Smithy, Froskuren. I met them for the first time too, and Perkz was actually the substitute of Dignitas at that event. The substitute of Dignitas, and he didn't play the event, he was just a sub, and I think they played with a different mid laner, and I remember thinking that they were trolling not putting Perkz in. I also met, I believe, Gilius for the first time in person there. It was, you know, two very, very strong characters, Perkz and Gilius. To know that Perkz, you know, in order to understand the magnitude of a player that Perkz is, the first split that he ever played, he won spring. This was 2016. Won summer, won spring again, won summer, and then of course 2018. That G2 roster, you know, got dissolved somewhat, but they did make upgrades. In the jungle position, they brought in Jankos, Wunder, and of course the Roccat bot lane together with Grabs. That year they struggled super hard, but they ended on such a high note because it was all about the strength of Perkz, Wunder, and Jankos coming together in you know, in a world where you know, Invictus Gaming was defining the meta at the World Championship. It landed perfectly in the hands of G2 too, where their bot lane just played a very defensive role, and then you know, the carrying was up to mid and top. This was the same World Championship where I was with Vitality, where coming into the tournament RNG looked like a very big favorite, but they dropped a game against us and also against Cloud9, but they ended up winning the tiebreaker to get the first seed out of the group. G2 got out of their group, and then I believe they were in the same group as Africa, and Africa managed to get the first seed, and then they lost to Cloud9 3-0 at 2018, which was a wild one. And then C9 versus, of course, Fnatic was one semifinals, and then the other one was IG versus G2, and that was a very tough one for G2. But the story of that one was they barely got to Worlds, and you know, Perkz had a monster performance on LeBlanc. And then 2019, we had the whole switch of Perkz going to AD carry. And coming into the World Championship, I believed he was the strongest player that Europe had. Because I think I put him, I believe, 3rd or 4th on my top 20 list when it comes to players. And Perkz did a lot of things that no other AD carry thought of. He transferred a lot of mid lane ideas into the AD carry position in terms of how to manage waves, manage side lanes. Something that Perkz always was the greatest at, and something that I attribute to the growth of Caps to Perkz. And that was, you know, good to see, good to watch for sure. And that year, you know, switching from mid, going to AD carry, doing it to bring forward Caps, because if Perkz didn't have this initiative, we might have not had this fantastic and strong G2 roster that we had in the last 2 years, which is very important to note. If at that point in time, you know, Caps had the idea of leaving Fnatic, maybe he would have stayed in Fnatic, who knows, maybe he would have gone elsewhere, and maybe he just could have gone to Cloud9 or something. There was some rumors back then about the blank check from Jack, but you know, we're going into speculation territory, so don't run away to the bank with it. But if Perkz didn't do that and honestly performed so fucking well in the AD carry position, even in the finals against FPX, you know, the Yasuo game was depressing, but the Varus game was super strong. They were super far ahead. That could have been won, and the third game too could have potentially been won too. But nevertheless, 2020, they fell short against Damwon, which honestly is no shame. All in all, let's get to the video.
With Luca, how did the scrims go today?
Very well.
Very well? Yeah. Who do you play against?
Look how young he is. Did you guys see Kick is in the back, man? Kick is also has changed so much, man. Like Kick is like I'm only seeing the back of his head here, but Kick has changed so much,
Who do you play against?
It's crazy. What an evolution. Oh, that's Dennis. That's my favorite referee, guys. Favorite referee, Dennis. This is Dennis. He's a beast. Best referee on the planet.
I'm fortunate enough to watch a lot of the EU LCS players over the last few years, and I can guarantee you that not all of them develop, not all of them grow, not all of them challenge themselves to think outside of the box. Perkz is one of those guys that is a competitor forever. Every single skill that is developed on Perkz is directly related to the game, is directly related to his impact on the team in the game. And while we're seeing Perkz grow off air, and while we're seeing Perkz grow in the social media spotlight and learn how to handle that pressure, it's also complementing his game. It's also complementing elements of his performance.
Oh, I remember this. Well, to be fair, Faker Cassie was really beast. This kill happened, but Faker won this game, so it's. I hate to be that guy, but Faker still 1v9 this game. He's still 1v9 this game. I hate to be this person, but you know, I have an archive in my mind of the games, and this was definitely a Uni Faker show.
And one of my favorite things about Perkz specifically is you really get a sense.
Oh man, they had to do me like that. Look at me looking in envy. This was 2016 summer. I just had to stand over there and look at this with envy.
That winning and being the best and performing, but not just for Perkz, for G2, for the team, for his teammates. That's what matters. And that's something that you don't see with everybody. When you want to be a superstar, a lot of people are focused on their own performance. And Perkz has managed to spread that to everybody around him.
Defensive flashes, Yamkos has already killed him. Now Yamkos is turning it back around. Defensive flash from Uzi. Teleport's coming down.
Oh, this was a game.
Perkz blows up RNG.
Holy goosebumps, guys. Goosebump alert. Goosebump alert.
G2 win the fight.
Perkz is a guy, when he came from Challenger, through his performance and kind of the way he acted, you already felt that he was going to be a mainstay, a star of the European scene. And I think in the beginning, he was always very good in the mid lane, but people started to remember him more because he would always speak his mind and shit talk a bit here and there. And I think maybe in the long run, that hurt him a little bit because that's what people talked about the most, when actually he was crushing it on the Rift. And slowly he worked his way up to one of the best mids we've ever seen in Europe.
Suning still sticking around. They don't want to give this away for free, but they make the call to go in and fight 4v5. It looks like they do. Yes, they will. Mickey's in some trouble. Enchanted Crystal Arrow flies
this
down.
game,
Suning going in for the fight. Wonder in the middle of 4 people. Two-shot barrage coming through.
I understand why you would bring it up, but this game was not a good Perkz game. Just bring up his Zaya performances, his Kai's performances, his monster performances. There's millions of games where Perkz absolutely dominates.
10,000 damage.
Wait, is that the whole game or is that last night? Because that is insane.
Now this is a game right here, man. This is a game that you show. Holy shit.
Hero moment. If he wants to turn this fight in favor of team, this could be the game. He gets the fight moment. Faker is gone. Teddy's next on the list.
Oh, the sequence is so beautiful, man.
He's just walking into the meat grinder of Perkz. Caught. Can he do it? They've done enough. They've done it. G2 caught. Can he get it done? He can't. The Vladimir. They can't do it. This is it. The greatest team in the history of League of Legends. Taken down.
This
is
the
greatest team Europe has ever produced. FPX, get ready. G2 is heading to Paris.
Dracos, man. Dracos. Yo, I got goosebumps all over my legs. All of my legs, all of my arms. Jesus, man. Trophy after trophy after trophy after trophy. Jesus. Thank you, Luca, for making it just a little bit easier for all of us in Europe to win the title. Actually, something Something that I forgot to give to him. It's kind of a joke. I made a video. I don't know if it's visible. I made a video because I was doing content in the off-season. I made this little trophy for Perkz. I don't know if you guys can read it. Can you read it? I just never gave it to him. I think Perkz was the best player of 2019. There was definitely not any contest there. Won back-to-back finals after role swapping, winning MSI and getting to the finals. Poof. That was a year. But now it's just a funny memory that I have. This kind of reminds me of my content. But I'll keep this, and then maybe I'll give it to him one day, and maybe he'll find it funny. Yeah, I'm sure people are gonna ask me about, you know, the speculation of the move and whatever, but I'm not that type of person. This is not. This is really not the place for it. You know, if you want to hear speculation, like, I'm not even going to say where he's going, even though it's like pretty much, you know, set in stone already, because I'm not that type of person. I don't want to speculate. Perkz as a player made Europe better. You know, there's a list of players that made a whole region better because they raised the bar for what is, you know, required to compete. Perkz is one of those players, for sure. Caps is one of those players. Reckless is one of those players. Anyhow, that's it for this video. I think Perkz, if the rumors are true, I think that looks like a very, very strong roster, really. So I wouldn't be worried at all. Like, people are saying it's for the green, but that roster is fucking strong. I don't like how people just put the whole of NA in a box. There are orgs and teams that are definitely a step ahead of everyone. I don't think it's necessarily only for the green. It's like, if it is the speculated roster of Cloud9, Zen, Vulcan, Blabber, Perkz, and Fudge. Now that is a strong roster, guys. It's a very strong roster. A Reignover head coach and potentially Mithy. If that's also true, that's also speculation. That's a powerful roster, man. Anyhow, that's it for this video. Boom. If you sneeze during the video, bless you and bless your face.